Here's page 3 now, and we're not doing upstream, downstream. We're doing like a little shopping trip here. We bought 4 coffees and 5 donuts, and that cost $14.65. And then went back to the store later and got 3 coffees and 2 donuts, and that cost $8.80. We want to know the price of one donut. And so we start with this idea. Let's use a C for the cost of one coffee and D for the cost of one donut, and we'll make 2 equations that reflect how much the shopping trip cost. 4 coffees would cost 4 times the cost of 1 cup of coffee. Add that to how many donuts did we get? 5 donuts. 5 times the cost of 1 donut. That would be the cost of the 5 donuts. So there's the cost of all the coffee plus the cost of all the donuts. Adds up to $14.65. Okay? So there's one equation based on that first sentence, or first part of that sentence. Second part of it says 3 coffees and 2 donuts. Here's 3 coffees plus 2 donuts would cost 3C plus 2D amount of money, and that was $8.80. So now we have a system of equations that reflects the story we've been told, and now we can forget all about coffee and donuts for a minute and just solve this for, I guess we want to solve it for D, because the question says how much does one donut cost. We'll find both anyhow, but just thought I'd mention that. To get opposites in the C column, we could make this a 12 and a negative 12, or we could make opposites here, make a 10D and a negative 10D, something like that. So let's get rid of the C variable. What I'm going to do, multiply the top equation by 3. Let me do that first separately. 3 times everything in that top equation. That would make 12C plus 15D equals how much? 3 times 1465. 3 times 1465. 43.95. Next, I want to do something to this bottom equation so that it says minus 12C. So what do I multiply the 3 by to make a minus 12? That's right, negative 4. So negative 4 times everything in this equation, that'll make that negative 12C, negative 8D equals, and then we want negative 4 times 880. So I'm doing negative 4 times 880 is negative 3520. Negative 30. Make sure I copy that right. Yeah. Okay. Now we're ready to add. The C's cancel. 15 and negative 8 is 7. So 7D, 7 times D, or 7 donuts would cost, whatever this adds up to. So 43.95 minus 3520, or plus negative 3520, is 875. And then if we divide that by 7, divide both sides by 7, here's what the calculator says, divide that by 7, we get 125. What does that mean? That means one donut costs $1.25. If we want the price of a coffee, we just take the cost of one donut, plug it in there, and solve for one coffee. Okay? Here's the old investment problem, like we did over and over again quite a few chapters ago. See how it gets set up using 2 equations. This guy, Raymond Barone, invested $7,000 in two different accounts, paying 4% and 10% interest each, and at the end of the year, the total interest he earned was $622. So instead of doing the X and the 7,000 minus X, we're going to do this. We're going to say X for the amount in 4%, Y for the amount in 10%. It doesn't matter which one you make, X or Y. What do we know about X plus Y? We know he had $7,000 invested altogether. Then another equation can be made by thinking about how much interest was earned. Well, the interest for this investment would be 4% of X, 0.04X. And the interest from this investment would be 10% of the Y dollars, so 0.10 times Y. The interest from the 4% investment added to the interest from the 10% investment has to add up to the total amount of interest, $622. Now that this is set up, we just solve this for X or Y, and the easiest way to do these is, let's just get the opposite coefficient for the smaller decimal. You got 0.04 is smaller than 0.01. You'll get less negative signs to have to cope with. So if we just multiply this top equation, I'm going to multiply by negative 0.04. Multiply everything by negative 0.04, and you're going to get negative 0.04x, negative 0.04y equals negative 280. And the bottom equation just gets copied. X positive 0.04x plus positive 0.10y equals 622. Now we add the columns, and the x columns disappear, and this adds up to positive 0.06y equals 622 minus 280 is 342. And now I divide by 0.06. So it's 342 divided by 0.06, and they get 5,700. Y is 5,700. And Y was used, let's go back over here, Y was used for the 10% investment. So I would say $5,700 at 10%. And the amount in the 4%, remember this equation, if you plug in 5,700 for Y, you're going to have X plus 5,700 equals 7,000. And we subtract 5,700 from both sides, and you get 1,300. So $1,300 at 4%. Okay. So there's the answer for number 9. Now for number 10. Very similar to number 9, so I'm not going to do it on the video because we're running out of time. You'll see the answer on the filled-in sheet. Lastly, this is sort of optional, but I wanted you to see that this can be used to get our slope-intercept form, alternate method of getting the slope-intercept form. We know that the line contains these 2 points. So if we plug in this for x and y into this generic model equation, what is that going to look like? The y gets replaced with a 1. I would say 1 equals negative 2 times m plus b. right? Y equals mx plus b becomes 1 equals m times negative 2 plus b. Do the same thing with the other pair of numbers. 26 for the y equals the slope times 3 plus b. Now, you might not notice it right away. However, what we have now is two equations with the same two variables, m and b. If I write this a little differently, I could write 1 equals negative 2m plus b instead of m times negative 2, and 26 equals 3m plus b. Okay? And solve this for either m or b first. I mean, just get opposites either in the m column or the b column. Look how easy this is. That's 1b and that's 1b. What if I just multiply this top equation by negative 1? Then I would say negative 1 equals positive 2m minus b. Copy the other equation right underneath. 26 equals 3m plus b. And now when I add the columns, negative 1 and 26 is 25. 2m and 3m is 5m. The b's cancel. I should say 5m. The b's cancel. 25 equals 5m. Divide both sides by 5. I get m equals 5. And then I can take that 5 that I found for m and plug it into, we plug it into this equation. Doesn't matter what equation you plug it into, but this looks like an easy one to use. 3 times 5 plus b, or 26 equals 15 plus b. Take away 15 from both sides. And we get b equals 11, which means our answer is y equals 5x plus 11. Now, does that really work? If we put in negative 2 for x, 5 times negative 2 would be negative 10 plus 11 would be 1. If we put in 3 for x, 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 11 is 26. Are we getting back the 2 points we started with? Yes. So this would be the correct answer. Okay, that's it for Monday. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.